And catching up in the latest of comedy, again, more and more being censored. Chewin the Fat, censored to avoid offending modern audiences. Now, for Yanks, you probably won't know what this is, but Chewin the Fat, it was on TV years ago, but it is considered a classic Scottish comedy, as in, like, mostly if you're not Scottish, you won't get the jokes, but a lot of it, like, you would still get and still enjoy. And Chewin the Fat was a classic show. The show's Karen Dunbar discovered sketches were removed by the BBC from the hit Scottish comedy that launched the careers of Still Games, Ford Kiernan, and Greg Hemphill. And there's some of the cast there. The BBC has removed sketches from older episodes of Chewin the Fat to avoid offending modern audiences, which is just absolutely cringe if you're offended. I mean, see if you're one of these easily offended people, then what are you doing watching comedy shows? Like, how about you just don't watch comedy instead of trying to change all of comedy to suit your little sensibilities? The hit Scottish set comedy series has been re-edited for repeat showings to take out any material deemed too controversial. The Chewin the Fat launched the careers of Ford Kiernan and Greg Hemphill, who went on to write the sitcom Still Game, which is another like classic Scottish comedy. Their co-star, Karen Dunbar, 50, discovered the show she appeared in had fallen foul of the censors while filming a new documentary on comedy in today's world. She was shown how decisions were made on what to cut from the show before a repeat was broadcast last year. Speaking on the Cultural Coven podcast, she says, as part of the documentary, we went down to the BBC in London where they edit the repeats. The week we went down, Chewin the Fat was going to be repeated at the weekend, so they brought up sketches and they were asking me if I thought it was going to be kept or cancelled. The BBC review every repeat that goes out and will take out the bits that aren't acceptable today. The result of that was Chewin the Fat went out on Saturday, but it went out with bits taken out of it that would have been in the original 20 years before it. Some of the material which was deemed unacceptable will be revealed in the documentary Karen Dunbar, The Comedy of Offence, which is set to air later this year. I'm actually very interested in that. That's something that I would definitely watch. I actually, like, just a few months ago, I actually seen Karen Dunbar, but I didn't want to approach her or anything. I didn't want to annoy her. Also, I would have fanboyed a little bit, probably. Chewin the Fat started out as a radio show and later ran for 4 series on television between 1999 and 2002. It featured characters such as Dunbar's Randy Old Betty. Randy Old Betty was brilliant. The one where she's visiting the museum and talking about the Anderson shelter. Yeah, that's a good one. The chain-smoking family who use voice boxes and an infamous scene involving a female ice cream van worker lifting her skirt up to 2 young boys. He's a swatchier fanny. I remember that one. The show has been regularly repeated on the BBC Scotland channel since it launched in 2019. Last year, Kiernan60 says he didn't think Chewin the Fat would be made to date because it would be deemed too offensive. He said, a lot of the stuff on Chewin the Fat is stuff you couldn't get away with now. The likes of Karen pulling her skirt up, I don't think you could do. We did get letters at the time and somebody wrote in and said, as funny as the nation thought that sketch was, would that sketch work if it was 2 wee lassies at the van and it was a man? No, it absolutely would not, but then again, there are completely different perceptions between men doing it and women doing it. And also, as a boy, I would have totally loved it if the ice cream woman showed me her fanny. Look, I'm just saying, look, it's fine if it's me. No one else is allowed to do it, but but if it's me, then yeah, you can show me that stuff. Me and Greg went, no, it wouldn't be as funny, so the point was made, don't write any more sketches like that, so we didn't. You can still write sketches like that. Another thing is Dirty Old Betty. You couldn't have her on the telly now. Why? It's funny. It's funny. Like what made like Old Betty like funny is the fact that she was this wee, sweet, lovely like old woman, right? And it's sort of in the same vein. It's like juxtaposition comedy, where it's like the same as like Nazi Pug, where oh look at the cute little dog. Oh Lord, what the dog doing? Like that type of comedy. Or you go, oh here's my friend Little John, and the guy comes in and he's a big 6'8" like brick shit house, right? That type of comedy. Well, Old Betty was exactly like that, where she was like this little sweet, lovely old woman, and then she says some of the most like sexually degenerate shit that you've ever heard. Because back in her day, Old Betty was a whore, right? And that's funny. That's just funny. and all that, but you're saying, oh, you couldn't make it now. That's fucking cringe, man. In 2020, BBC removed episodes of Little Britain and Fawlty Towers from streaming services over fears of causing offence. A BBC spokesperson said the BBC regularly reviews older content to ensure it meets current audience expectations. This is part of a process when repeating archive content, including comedy. No, it's not. It's not meets audience expectations. It's because there is a little small number of a screaming mob that are like, oh, censor everything that's offensive, and then you're going ahead and bloody doing it. You're essentially like Ministry of Truthing comedy and pretending that these scenes didn't happen, so that you can avoid the backlash from this little group of loud screechers. That's exactly why you're doing it. Do you remember when they just put a warning on, going, warning, this comedy contains scenes that are offensive, and then the audience at home can make the decision if they want to keep watching or if they want to change the channel to something else. Remember those days? Remember the good old days? Remember when we had choice? Remember that? And instead what they're doing is they're taking the choice away from us, because see that little mob of screechers, that's what they want. They don't, it's not even a case of, it should be enough where they're like, I don't want to see offensive stuff, so they can make the willful decision to not watch offensive stuff. Instead, they want to make that decision for everyone. They want to say, since I don't like offensive stuff, no one is allowed to watch or see the offensive stuff. In fact, we want to take away their ability to do so. And I've said this like so many times. See if, because you don't like something, you want the entire world to bend to your will, and you will not allow anyone else, even if they want to enjoy that thing, then you are a massive narcissist. You are a massive narcissist with a god complex. Right? I have never ever seen, imagine being that type of person where instead of you adjusting your behaviour to make your experience better, you want the entire world to adjust just for you. The rest of us and what we want, we can go fuck ourselves, because all that matters is you. You are clearly, anyone that acts like that is clearly a spoiled as fuck only child that mummy and daddy didn't have the courage to say no to enough. That is what that type of person is, right? You can't just pretend that these skits like never happened. And this is why I say to everyone, like, see all your old comedy shows and all that. I've just recently done it. You should probably sail the high seas in order to get them, because the ones that you watch in the modern day, well, they're going to go through this. They're going to have all the offensive scenes like removed. Like, say for example, remember Monkey Dust? Remember League of Gentlemen? Classic comedies, hilarious. Remember IT Crowd? That had an episode removed as well, the one about the trans women and all that. Funny that Glenner wrote that episode. But yeah, eventually all these old classic comedies, they're going to be stripped down completely bare until they're nothing but a complete husk of what they once were. So all I'm saying is, like you do with any other, imagine, and it's funny, you usually say this to do with computer files, right? I'm saying to do this with art, media, and reality. Start making backups.